All right, Mike, we're back. Episode three. We're going to talk a little bit about what we think for the series that starts tomorrow, day one of playoffs.
Yeah,
So let's start with the Eastern Conference,
yeah,
Miami and Milwaukee. So we've seen this matchup last year.
yeah,
Um, I feel it's gonna right off the bat. I feel it's gonna be a little bit different this year. I think the Heat they've been kind of banged up, right?
yeah.
Um, Tyler Hero hasn't been playing that well,
hmm
um, and and the Bucks got Drew Holiday.
Hmm. I I do agree with you, but at the same time, I felt like Milwaukee is not as they didn't play as well this year either. Like I felt like they've been pretty inconsistent, and like I mean it's funny to say, but like I don't even know if like Giannis got better this year or it felt like he got kind of like stagnant, Like
Yeah,
it's not as like his performance this year is not as impressive. Like his stats still shows that like he's doing like he have like a MVP year, but just look watching like the highlights. I didn't I'm not able to like follow them too closely, but just watching highlights, watching other you know like ESPN, just talking about his play this year. It just feels like he had like a
normal
Giannis
average year.
average, yeah, like an
Yeah, like an
average
average
year
year.
for him.
Yeah,
Um, Drew Holiday, I think he's a great addition for them. But Chris Middleton doesn't feel like he had a great season either. Felt like he was kind of like same as last year. So there's not like a big improvement.
yeah,
Um, I think towards the end of the season he was kind of inconsistent as well. So while I do agree that Miami this year is not as I would say consistent, um, I feel like this series is actually closer. Well, can be closer than what most people, their expectation. Like
what is the consensus? What?
I feel like people will still take like Milwaukee over the Heat, like 4-2 kind of thing. But I feel like this series actually can go either way. Like it could go that like because both teams are like pretty inconsistent this year. This series could either go 7 games and both team can know squeak out like a away like take one game from each other and then it will be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
really it will and then it will be decided on the games on game 7 like but like I said both team can win it like you and both team have good enough player that could like uh impact that series right on Miami side like Bam Adebayo he can contain Giannis I feel like he could but at the same time he needs to be able to contribute both ends. So it's more it's gonna really depend on like how much energy he need to as like use on both sides. Um, Jimmy Butler, I feel like you can rely on him. He will give you everything. He'll give you his 120%. Um, but yeah, it's gonna also go to depends on like the bench players. And then Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and then the health of Goran Dragic because I think he was still out towards the end of the season. I don't think he even played.
no,
So I think he will be ready for tomorrow, game one, and even for the series. But he'll be a big factor. Because if you have a healthy Goran Dragic, whether he's coming off the bench or starting, um, he will give you that 15 to 20 points a game. Um, and he's gonna bring that offensive power for Miami. So on paper, I don't know if you agree. Um, I feel like Miami have more weapons, but it's gonna depend on like their performance in game. Looking at Milwaukee, they have Chris Middleton, they have Giannis, they have Drew Holiday. Um, that you can that they will give you those points. But then everyone else, you kind of have to see let's see who's gonna step up. This game, who's gonna step up the game after kind of thing. So I feel like Miami have more weapons, but it's gonna be up to Hero, up to Robinson, and Milwaukee is kind of still follow if Giannis can carry the team, just carry just kind of Giannis
Well,
drop
he's okay.
40.
The thing
Yeah,
with Giannis, like what you said, like this season, he hasn't shown anything different, right? So I guess the strategy against him has won't change. It's gonna be
yeah,
build a wall, right? Build a wall
yeah,
against Giannis.
yeah,
It's just this year is like, okay, you have Drew Holiday right now who can shoot.
yeah,
Like, is he gonna bail him out, right?
yeah,
I mean, he's gonna play like decent defense
yeah.
on Tyler Hero or Dragic, but is that even needed? I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure like
Yeah,
if
it's
that's
a hard it's a hard series to predict because like I said, it could go either way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, last year I think they met round two, so Miami was kind of like warmed up already. You know that
yeah,
grit and
yeah,
grind style.
yeah,
This year they're coming like straight into the playoffs, and Milwaukee's like the first series.
yeah.
I I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're ready like for that grind right off the bat. I mean, you can't like Jimmy Butler showed us last year. You can't bet against him, but
Yeah,
yeah, it feels different this year. I know they have Trevor Ariza, they got Iguodala, but
yeah.
those guys they're just playing defense and they're they're too small for Giannis.
All right, I've been circling around too much, but I think if I really have to make a like kind of predict, I'm still gonna go with the Bucks,
Yeah,
just for the sole reason of Giannis is the best player between the two teams. But it could go either way. It honestly can go either way. It won't be a shocker, it's not a shocker
yeah,
if Miami beat comes out on top. How about you, Clark? What do you think?
yeah. I I feel the same way. I don't feel like the Heat are as good as last year in the bubble,
Hmm.
right? They've been really inconsistent. Too many injuries. Too
It's
many
like
players out of
it's like they don't
rotations.
have that. It's like they don't have that underdog mentality this year.
Yeah, and Oladipo's not playing. Like, right? Like that's their big acquisition for the trade deadline. He has what season-ending surgery, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's the same matchup last against as last season plus Drew Holiday.
I think the biggest problem for the Heat this year is like I said just now, the underdog mentality. The team doesn't overlook them anymore this year. Like team actually will take them they can compete. They're like a actual playoff team. Like they're not just like a random team that just squeak in like eighth seed. Like teams
Yeah,
are actually taking them like a team that is supposed to make it. Not a team that they barely made it. So it's different, right? Because it's like okay, like I don't want to talk about the Warriors tonight, but it's like or the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, but it's just like that underdog mentality. It's like I have nothing to lose, right? And last year Miami Heat have that. They're like like I have nothing to lose. I would just do whatever I need to do every single game. If I get it, if I win it, I win it. If I don't, like nobody's gonna be disappointed. But this year is like the whole mentality changed. It's like people are taking them seriously. They feel
and,
like they're a playoff team.
yeah,
So that
and another thing is like Tyler Hero. Like last year, he's like a darling rookie, right?
yeah,
I think like you hear in the middle of the season, like it's getting to his head a little bit,
yeah,
right? He's like taking his celebrity status,
yeah.
he's feeling as himself a bit too much, and hasn't translated on the court. So, final prediction: I'm gonna go 4-2 Milwaukee.
4-2. Me
4-2
too. Four
Milwaukee.
two. 4-2 sounds like the the
Yeah, yeah.
logical prediction. Yeah,
Hard fought series, but four
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Okay, let's move on. So
yeah.
we got the Nets versus Celtics. Some interesting narratives, right? So you got KD
Very very juicy,
versus
very juicy matchups.
Tatum, yeah, and then
Yeah,
the big one is Kemba Walker versus Kyrie,
yeah,
right? And then Kyrie playing his old team, like that's gonna be fun to watch.
yeah.
Um, but honestly, if the Celtics can win just one game,
Yeah.
like that's pretty good already. I think it's gonna be 4-1. I'll give him credit.
Uh,
I'll give him one game. 4-1 the Nets.
yeah, I think 4-1 sounds about right. I think for Boston this playoff, I mean, just for them making into the play-in, because uh, our first podcast we were predicting them not even making it because of their injuries. So for them to make to beat sorry, they beat the Wizards, right? They beat the Wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably like the minimum that they wanted and they got it. So they play the Nets. Um, the Nets are ready to go. I feel
Full
like
strength. Yeah.
yeah,
James Harden's back.
yeah. James
But
Harden's back. You have KD, you have Kyrie. It's playoff mode. I think that the mindset is different now, right? They're in the playoff. They're not just playing regular season game. They're coming for the chip. Um,
it'd be interesting. I don't know. Like they play like what 8 games together.
yeah, but
So
I think like they don't. I just feel like they don't even need that. They don't even need that chemistry. They're just two. No, all hit. Just the three of them is good enough to like.
I disagree. I disagree with you.
I think they'll be. I think they'll be like.
They'll
I
be
honestly.
fine. They'll be fine against the Celtics, but that chemistry, like, it's not like for this whole playoff run. Like, think about Miami Heat in 2010 when they had Chris Bosh and LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Like, they
Yeah.
couldn't win it the first year because they didn't have that
Hmm.
chemistry yet. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that they have like so much firepower, but there's only one basketball, right? So what
I
are they
don't
gonna
think
do?
they. The only. I feel like the only team that could challenge them. Hmm.
Well, the Sixers will definitely challenge them. Sixers, like who's gonna go up against Embiid, right?
Sixers.
Yeah. Um, the thing is, I think they're gonna beat themselves, other than someone else kick their ass,
Yeah. So like.
right? They haven't got it worked out. They've only played 8 games. Everybody needs the ball. The only person who doesn't need the ball is Kevin Durant,
And
right?
but I think that I mean, and that's the point. That's the key, right? Is like he doesn't need the ball, so he doesn't need the ball to like get hot. That's the part. That's the part why I keep saying like, oh my god, Kevin Durant. Um, everything looks so easy for him.
Yeah, but he's the best player, and he's the only one that doesn't need the ball, right? So who's playing point guard? Is it Harden or is it
Well, I mean,
Kyrie?
if just from me, my perspective, I mean James Harden playing point guard is probably the right move for them.
Yeah.
I feel like James Harden, I really do need to give him credit this year. Ever since he moved to the Nets, like he actually kind of like I feel like he I feel like he made he sacrificed first of all he sacrificed scoring to be more like a facilitator. So and when we were watching him in Houston, you don't think he's willing to give up the ball like that, right? So for him to do that, I feel like that he deserved a lot of credit for that. And Kyrie, from when he first came out of college, or yeah, college, yeah. Everybody already say that he's not a true point guard. He's like a shooting guard. I think right now for him in Brooklyn, that's perfect for him. He can be the shooting guard. He can take his shot. He doesn't have to worry too much about facilitating, assisting. And then he have KD, who's willing to like just you don't need to give me the ball. You only give me the ball when I need to when you guys need 2 points. So I think it's perfect. I think it's like a perfect scenario for Kyrie, for James Harden, and for KD right now. And like you said, I do agree that their worst and their biggest enemy is themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can beat them. To be honest, nobody can like in a 7 game series. Nobody's beating them in the East, at least.
Uh, I don't
No, no,
know.
no,
I
no.
don't
The
know.
only way they lose, the only way they don't make it is if they beat themselves. Like if they get if the three of them, one of them becomes like the greedy player, the greedier or the more selfish player. That's when the problem might happen. But
It's
if
gonna happen. It's just a matter
I
of
don't
time. It's only a matter of time.
I don't know.
And then once you get some of that the media scrutiny, once they lose a couple games, I just think it's gonna be too much for them. Like they don't like who's their leader? Kyrie or KD? Like those guys, like it's a different. It takes different leadership, right?
Hmm.
To win, to rally your troops. So it'd be tough. But I think against Boston, they can play at 75, 80%, and they'll beat Boston pretty easily.
And but I do hate the narrative right now because like even just now, even right now, right? We're not even talking about Boston because we're like, oh, it's kind of like already a wrap, right? We're already talking about how it's all about the Nets. We don't really care about what Celtics gonna do, even if Tatum scored 50 on the game against Wizards, we're not worried. We're like, oh, yeah, Jason Tatum can do whatever he wants, but Boston is not winning this series, and it sucks. It sucks for the neutral. Like for me, like I honestly, I'm not really like don't have a favorite towards any of these two teams. But yeah, like I'm not worried. I'm not even really interested talking about Celtics because I'm like, this series is 4-1. It's like it's done.
Four
Um,
one. Okay.
like it sucks. Like it really sucks for people because it's just kind of like that 2017 Warriors mindset, right? It's just like, oh, like why are we even talking about the other team? It's just easy. Let's just move. Let's just get them into the play at the finals, and then we'll talk more.
Well,
Because
I think the reason why is because they've been playing terribly this season. They're underachieved everyone's
Boston, yeah.
expectation. Yeah,
I mean, they
even
have
if
injuries. They have
so.
injuries.
Okay,
I mean,
sure. With COVID protocol, even if you have Jalen Brown this series,
yeah,
it's four
right. And
one.
and
It's
it
still
sucks.
4-1. I'm
It sucks.
sorry.
It
Yeah,
sucks. Yeah, it
like
sucks.
they're just not. They just don't have enough. So
Yeah.
okay, let's move on to the West. So we got Mavericks versus Clippers. So a rematch. In last year's playoff series. This year, they have a healthy Porzingis coming
Mhm.
in, right?
Yeah.
So with Porzingis last year, it felt like they could have beaten the Clippers.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think so. I don't think they gonna beat them this year.
okay, so
I
you're
have
taking
I
Clippers.
feel yeah, sorry. Oh, go ahead. You go first. You go first. You go first. Yes, Clark.
I I don't know. I think Dallas put up a really good fight last season.
Yeah.
Uh, in the playoffs, like what we're seeing, even in the play-ins, like the defense,
Hmm.
right? The whistle like doesn't get blown, game slows down. It's gonna be more of a half court set.
Yeah.
So that's when like Luka Doncic, he's gonna do his thing. Like
Hmm.
there's nobody that's gonna stop him. Like
Yeah.
Kawhi's not gonna stop him. Like
Hmm.
Paul George isn't gonna be able to. So I think he's gonna put up a fight. I think he's
What?
gonna put up a pretty good fight with
Hmm.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
But I also know like the Clippers, I think it feels like they have better chemistry this year. They have, Ibaka,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They got rid of Montrezl Harrell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they have Batum,
Mm.
right? So guys are a bit more mature.
Yeah.
Seems like they're all like on Kawhi's,
Yeah. They split the season series 2-2 this year. Um.
and one of them was like a revenge game where like they lost like 50 points something.
Yeah.
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 So who's to say Dallas doesn't want to do that to them in the playoffs? Like
Yeah.
that's the real revenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like I agree with you on the chemistry part. Clippers definitely look like they have a better chemistry this year. Um. I think having getting Rondo was probably the best thing that
Mm,
happened for them this year. That's stability, the
yeah.
or like knowing that someone can come off the bench and like really keep the team like still keep them in a flow. instead of like, oh, you don't know what's gonna happen when Kawhi or PG are not playing. Like last year it was still Lou Williams.
Yeah,
Right? They don't have Lou this year.
yeah.
But just having Rondo, like just kind of like that anchor, right, for like a boat or a ship, right? This person's got to calm down the whole team. Yeah, I feel like they're not. Yeah, this year they do have that calmness to them. Um,
But there's a narrative. Like they lost the last two games of the series. Some people say is to avoid the Lakers, right?
yeah,
If that was true, that kind of shows you like their mindset. Like there's a bit of fear. They're not like that. Coming into playoff, they're not like I'm super alpha, right? Like if you have doubts already,
yeah.
like that kind of shows a little bit of that weakness. And we know Paul George. Like which Paul George are we gonna get?
I mean, I have.
Playoff P.
I mean, I gotta say he had a. I would say he had a pretty good year.
He did. He
Let's
has.
be real. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Like
he has.
for me, like, cause I even doubted him. This year, even just for the regular season, I didn't think he would have as good of a season as he had.
But does it like
Like you know,
again?
like I
We've
mean,
seen it before, right? We've
it's gonna be
seen
hard. It's
him
hard. It's hard to like not cast a doubt on that, right?
yeah.
But I mean, he did have a really good season. Um, I think
D-
I would give him. I think I would give him another chance. I think this series is gonna tell us a lot whether we can take him seriously or not.
so if he
Um,
chokes,
if he
if
chokes
he
again, I mean, I don't know if he can redeem himself. Um,
ever,
yeah, I
ever,
don't think.
ever.
Yeah, because I mean, he wants people to give him a fair chance again to redeem himself. Okay, this year, this is the series to do it, right?
Yeah.
And nobody. Okay, like I do want to point out. I do want to say something. I mean, Kawhi also need to step up this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
I mean, last year he get a pass. Fine. He deserved that. He gets that pass, but this year he can't have a pass.
Yeah.
He better show up. I mean, I'm not just saying like on stat wise, but like he needs to show up with his performance as well. Um, I think last year he did get a lot of pass for like losing to they lost to the Dallas last year, right?
No, they beat Dallas.
No, who did they lose to last year? I forgot right now. I don't remember on top of my head.
I think it's Denver.
Oh, they lost to Denver, right?
Yeah.
So he got a lot of he got a big pass from everybody because everybody was just just kind of like blaming it on PG, right? So this year I think he really needs to step up. Um, and
It,
I think that expectation that we all want give the Clippers is what Western Conference Final. I think they need to make that
yeah.
minimum. Um,
It's I think for Kawhi, like it feels like he hasn't like clamped down on defense this year,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like that's what he's known for.
yeah,
It feels like we haven't seen that,
yeah.
and we haven't like Paul George is supposed to be a good defensive player too, but he got abused by Luka Doncic,
Yeah,
right? And I think that's not going to
yeah,
change. So
but
it'd be
yeah,
interesting.
but I would say like that's my expectation for them. Like
Yeah, they got to get to the conference finals.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter if the Western Conference got better this year, but I feel like Clippers needs to make it to the Western Final.
yeah.
No matter who they're facing, like I don't care if Utah is the first seed. I don't care if Phoenix is like second seed. I don't care if Denver. I don't care. Like I
Because
honestly feel like
well,
Clippers
because
need to make.
those three teams they're
Yeah,
inexperienced.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like
They're not as experienced,
yeah,
right?
so that's what
So
I'm saying. I would say if Clippers don't get into the Western Final, I feel like they need to start thinking about that. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm paying you money. I did what you wanted us to do, um, and you're not delivered. Like, it honestly it feels like oh, you didn't deliver your end. Like, I gave you like Clippers gave him everything that he needed, right?
he's a
So
free agent this year,
yeah,
this summer.
so I think like this year. I mean, it's so early for us for me to say this, but yeah, I would say I'm expecting them to get into the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
they don't, okay, if they don't, PG's like maxed out extension, right?
Yeah,
I felt like that was I don't understand that decision. Why
yeah,
do it so early when he just came off a poor season?
yeah.
And then now you have Kawhi.
Hmm.
And if they get bounced the first round, do you think Kawhi would still want to stay?
I mean,
And if he stays, are you offering another max contract to him, knowing that you have PG and Kawhi, and then there's no more flexibility?
well, I mean, the ball is on Kawhi's court though, so he's a free agent. He get to decide. And if he said he doesn't want to stay in Clippers, I'm sure so many teams want to get him. Um, yeah, like I think I don't okay. I think Kawhi will end up staying in the Clippers,
Yeah,
just because his well, I mean that's the main reason he left the Raptors, right? He could have easily resigned with Raptors. I mean, he did, at least, when he's, talking to the media and talking to everybody else, he's like, oh yeah, I love the Raptors. I mean, he enjoyed his time in Toronto, but he wants to play. He wants to be closer with his family. So that was his main reason. At least he said. So I feel like if he leave Clippers after 2 years, after 2 seasons, that's kind of like it doesn't look good on him, right? So unless he doesn't care, what other people, what the outside people are like look think of him, right? Then he can leave. But if he cares about what the perception from the media, from the fans, then yeah, he will stay, and I
he
feel like he
doesn't
will.
care. He
He
doesn't. He doesn't care though. We
Yeah,
know
right.
Kawhi
So
like he
so
doesn't
he,
care.
but I feel like he will stay. I feel like he wants to
Yeah.
win a title with the Clippers, especially when
Okay,
he's
so he stays, but they
he
get
stays.
bounced. They get bounced first round. He still wants to stay,
Yeah,
knowing that this is the team for the next 3 4 years.
yeah,
Your second best player is Paul George.
yeah,
He's only getting older,
yeah.
so
But I mean,
who
there
knows?
is a market. There is a market for Paul George though. If Clippers start calling around the world, around the league, and be like, hey, like Paul George is available to trade, I'm sure there's suitors, but
You're not
um,
getting your assets back from the trade from the OKC. You're not getting that back
yeah, you know.
because
But I mean,
the only teams that would want him is a team that has playoff hopes
yeah.
to go
Well, but I
far. And
mean,
if he
hey,
chokes,
yeah.
there's no value, right?
Well, I mean, with the luxury, the payroll and all the luxury, like all the inflated contracts, I'm sure there will be teams that were able to take his contract. Um, but just going back to the Clippers, yeah, they need to. I feel like they will make. I feel like my prediction for them is they will win this series. But yeah, their minimum expectation is conference final.
Okay, so Clippers, you got Clippers. How many games?
Uh, I'll say 4-2. 4-2. 4-2 is 4-2. That's my prediction. 4-2 for
4-2
Clippers.
Clippers.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you, but I am rooting for the Mavs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Mavs. Okay. Last game for tomorrow, game one, day one of plan is the Nuggets and the Blazers.
This one is this I hate to make it sounds like a broken record, but yeah, it's gonna be another entertaining series. I
It's a
mean,
toss up.
yeah, it's a toss up. I I think on paper people are gonna say Nuggets gonna win, but I won't be surprised if they don't. Um, I mean, when you're playing against Dame and CJ, so anything can happen. You get Dame, on fire, Damian Lillard for a couple games. That's the game right there. You don't have. There's nobody in Denver that can kind of guard him, right? He's like Steph Curry. He's like Stephen Curry, right? The minute he passed half court, is like he can jack up a three. So um, it's gonna depends on how they defend CJ McCollum and Carmelo and let's see um the post play from Nurkic. He's healthy now, so I think I think Denver will get in. I think they will win, but I would say it might be the first series that actually goes 7 games. So I think Denver 4-3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird because Denver's missing Jamal Murray,
yeah,
right? Big
yeah,
part, but they've shown that they can still compete and win
yeah,
with Michael Porter Jr., right?
yeah,
Jokic, we know he's probably going to dominate Nurkic.
yeah. He will probably.
Yeah, and they were teammates before,
Yeah,
so yeah. If Jamal Murray was playing, it'd be clear to me that Denver's going to win. Like, here's the thing about Portland. Every year, we're like, oh yeah, they have all the pieces, they have everything they need to win.
yeah,
And then every year, they don't do it, right? It's the same roster. You got CJ, you got Dame, Carmelo. This year, they got Covington,
yeah,
Nurkic. And
yeah.
then every year, it's like, oh, we just need Zach Collins. Well, guess what? He's never coming. Like he's never coming
He's
back. Like
always injured.
I've never seen him play. Like
Yeah,
we've seen him play like maybe one playoff series in like the last 3 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So every year it's the same ending. I don't believe them.
You know that question that you had earlier with about just the last segment with Clippers. It applies for the Blazers as well, right? Because okay, let's say they get knocked out in the first round or second round. I feel like they need to start thinking about that. Like I know all the pundits are have been talking about the same issue. Is it time to break up that
Yeah,
CJ McCollum and
it's
Damian
time.
Lillard?
If they don't make it to even if you get to Western Conference Finals, let's say, so what? Like you get bounced.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna get better the
Yeah,
next
as
year.
yeah, like I mean, I totally agree with that because I mean, I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, okay, what else? How else? Like, what else can CJ McCollum do better at?
He
He's
needs to throw
already,
like 4 inches and play defense,
yeah, he's
which is
yeah, right,
impossible.
exactly. Like he's already like I'm not saying I'm not saying he's elite, but like I'm saying he's already the top,
he's
top.
yeah, he's done as well as he
Yeah,
can.
he's pretty much at his ceiling, right? He's already,
Yeah,
super. He's pretty efficient. I mean, he can shoot 2-pointer. He can hit his threes. He drives, pretty consistently. I mean, you can. The only thing you can say talk about CJ is maybe his defense, but I mean, defense is not something like you just get better at overnight, right? So, and I mean, he's not young anymore.
no.
Um, like how much better he can be on defense that could that can make Blazer a better team, right?
Well, this is why I think they traded for Powell, Norman Powell,
Yeah, but
right?
but Powell is like what, like almost 30, right? Was it? How was it? 20? Is it
I don't know, but
20?
he plays.
26?
Okay, they traded Gary Trent Jr. for him.
Yeah,
Gary Trent is just gonna shoot,
yeah.
right? He's not
But Powell is
Powell.
restricted though.
Yeah, so it's like,
Powell is
okay, let's
restricted
let's
though.
see what you can do, right? Let's see what you can do
Yeah,
for us this playoff series, because
yeah,
he will grind and play
yeah,
deep, right?
yeah.
Um, and so will Covington.
Mhm.
So, but the problem is,
Yeah, but the thing is, Covington. I mean, we talk about this off the podcast, but Covington, I feel like Covington is starting to give me that. What should I call him?
just three and no D
No, no,
guy.
no, no, no. Yeah, like he always get the tight get the 3 and D specialist kind of thing.
Yeah, but he's
I feel
just
like
now a
people are
three.
overhyping his
Yeah,
defensive ability.
yeah, it is. He
Like, is
has the
he like
size, but
yeah? Like, is he actually a defensive stopper? Like, I mean, I watch him every single time I watch him. I honestly don't think his defense is that spectacular.
yeah,
I mean, he might be like he might be super like he might stand out because the rest of his teammates aren't good defensively, but like when he was in Houston, he was people were calling he's a 3-and-D, but like did he
No,
actually like do his job? I don't think
no.
so. I mean,
Okay, so
everywhere he
okay,
goes.
here's what I'm thinking. You got Dame,
Yeah,
CJ, Norman Powell, Covington, Carmelo.
yeah,
You can only play three of those guys when you have
yeah,
five of them,
yeah.
right? So I think the good thing playing with Denver, they don't have Murray, so they're 1-2. Like you don't really need to guard. Who's their
Well,
one? What Campazzo and who's the two right now?
is it Gary Harris?
No, Gary Harris got traded to Orlando. He's not on the
Right.
team.
I'm so sorry. Holy, let me take a look. Man.
And sorry, who Will Barton's out. So who's two? Who plays two for them?
Let me take a look.
So that means Dame and CJ don't have to play defense, right? It's just you just got it's just Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and then you got Jokic.
Oh, last I'm just looking at the box score from last game that they played against each other. So it was Michael Porter. Oh well, yeah. Well, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Austin Rivers started for them. Campazzo started for them, and
Yeah,
then they do have
Campazzo.
Monte Morris. So Monte Morris has been like pretty. He's a pretty good six man coming off the bench. So I don't know if you can start him, but he's an option there.
Okay, so
Um,
so okay, this is like the best matchup for the Blazers because they have a small backcourt and they don't need to play defense.
yeah. Yeah, so
Okay,
I feel like it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I think Denver still will get through. Will beat Blazer, but I think the intriguing part is will be the what happens after for the Blazers. Because I
if
feel like it's time. I really feel it's time
yeah,
if they don't get it.
the Blazers gotta beat Denver this series with no Jamal Murray,
But I
right? This
get, but
is
I yeah, but I do agree with you though. Even if they make it into the second round, they
or
do need
third.
to yeah, they need to figure something out though, because yeah,
Okay,
like
Damian Lillard to New York this offseason.
I don't know if he okay. I don't want to say it too early. I feel like he's super loyal.
He is. He
He's
is.
I don't know if he even want to leave Portland.
Maybe not. But what are you gonna get for CJ?
Well,
Right?
you can
What are
get a
you
good
gonna
pack.
get?
I feel like you can get a good package from CJ McCollum. To be honest,
Who? Okay.
I mean he's a
Which team wants a undersized two guard that doesn't play defense?
well. I mean Chicago probably needs someone.
Yeah, but Chicago's got Zach LaVine at two.
Yeah, but is Zach gonna stay? Like, the thing is, like, okay, there's so many conversations that we can go with. Because then, okay, I first thing, it comes to mind, like for me, Chicago comes to mind right away is because they need to do something. Like, that team, like they got Vucevic, and they didn't make the playoff this year.
Mhm.
And the youngster in that
Kobe
team,
White
yeah, it's
and
not working. It's not working there. Like, and
Kobe
Laurie
White.
Markkinen is like,
Oh, he's
kind of.
gone. He's gone for sure.
Yeah.
He's gone.
No, but I mean
Yeah,
like that team is like they need to make the playoff. Right? I think that's the target for them every year.
yeah.
And like you said, like who can they get to booster that roster, right? I think Zach LaVine like what?
He's a free agent. I think.
He's a free agent end of this season.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so you need someone. You need to you don't know if Zach wanna
Well, I think he's restricted.
and then he's free
He's,
agent the year after, right?
no, I think is it this season? I gotta look it up, but I think he's a restricted free agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if anything, I think Zach LaVine would probably be someone that New York Knicks wants, right? Another Skywalker, like an actual Skywalker, someone who's a box office.
Interesting.
Um,
Did he
let me
did
take a
he
look. Let
play
me.
for Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota?
Yeah, he did.
He did? Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he did. Hold on, let's see if Zach LaVine's a contract this situation. Zach LaVine. Hmm, contract. Yeah, because yeah, he's 2022 free agent. So
2022. Okay.
yeah, so he have
Okay.
one more season.
All right. So you're taking Denver in this
Yeah,
series,
Denver's 4-3, I think.
4-3.
Yeah,
Ooh, I think this one might be an upset for me.
is it
I I think they gotta do it. I'm gonna go with Portland in this one.
Portland 4-3?
Yeah. 4-2 Portland.
Wow, Portland 4-2.
Because Michael Porter Jr. is unproven in the playoffs, and Jokic is gonna need a bit more help. Like he'll have his way, but you can't win the playoff when you have Campazzo and Austin Rivers as your 1-2 on a playoff team. Like
That's true.
I'm
Well, I
sorry.
feel like they will. I feel like they probably will put Monte Morris as a starting two, and then
Still, like
Austin
it's
River
not
coming off the bench, which he's accustomed to.
like Aaron Gordon's not like he's a nice slasher,
Yeah.
right? He'll do something, but it's his is it his first playoff in 8 years?
Second, he was in
Second?
Magic last year, right?
Oh, they just got whooped, so I don't think that really
They won one
counts.
game.
Yeah,
They won one game against the Raptors, and the Raptors
the
woke up
first the
and be like,
first game, yeah.
"Yeah, Raptors
Okay,
woke up and then be like, okay, I will smash you."
yeah. Okay, so I'm taking the first upset, Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So I think that kind of wraps up day one, the playoff prediction for us.
Yeah.
Anything
And then
else you want to add?
well, I mean, for people that wants to, well, for you guys that wants to hear about Warriors, we'll probably talk about Warriors tomorrow. We'll probably do a season recap for the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, tonight it's just really hard for me and Clark, and even Alex who couldn't be here tonight to talk about it. It's just really frustrating, for us because we're all predicting them to get in, and like we all felt like it would be a really it would be a cool story for this season if they can make it, and then let's see how far they will go. And to be super honest, I feel like they could go really far actually if they got in. But yeah, we won't talk about them today. It's just really hard for me at least. I don't know how about Clark, but yeah, we'll definitely talk about the Warriors. Probably in
Yeah,
next couple episodes.
We'll do a Warriors special. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard right now. It hurts. It sucks. It's just super frustrating. I
You
mean,
know
I
what
could.
what makes me mad is like how the defense is playing Curry. Like, what is that? Like the moment he crosses half court, it's a double team.
Yeah,
Every possession.
yeah. And the narrative right now, like, I mean, I wasn't able to watch the game. I think Clark only caught some highlight. It's just the narrative right now on Twitter, on internet. It's just like, oh, everybody just going crazy on, oh, Steph didn't show up. They're like they're making fun of Warriors. I mean, yes, it's fair game. Like, I mean, it's probably nothing too crazy that people do it, but it just sucks that the narrative right now is, oh, Steph didn't show up when it matters.
If you
I
look
mean,
at,
I have
I mean,
so much.
if you watch how they play him, like
Yeah,
when Clay is back next year, they can't play them like that
I have
anymore.
so much. I have so much to
They
say
can't. So the,
about the whole season about the Warriors, and for people that use that narrative. Oh, he's just he's getting carried by KD. He has to have superstar around him to be like effective.
I don't think so. I think he killed that narrative, if anything, this year. Like he led
But
the league in scoring, and he put
I
the
but
Warriors in that position.
all the like all the people just comes out when they lose today, and that narrative just makes
Yeah,
me
but those
don't
are
even want to
all. You know who those
go.
people are? Those are all bronzexuals. All of
uh,
them. They're just
it,
bronzexuals.
yeah, it sucks right now. It's hard
Right?
to talk about them, but yeah, we'll talk about them for sure next in maybe the next episode, or the episode after that. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about. Oh, are we gonna talk about maybe on Monday, Tuesday? We might talk about it's just a quick recap of all the games that happened the next
Yeah.
couple of days.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah.
Thanks,
All
Mike.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good one, everybody.
Good night.
Yep.